Hello, my name is Bob Siejkowski, and I've been a Hampton Township resident for the past 7 years. I'm a businessman, a farmer, and someone who cares deeply about our town and its future. I never had any desire or intention to get involved in politics, but after experiencing what has been happening in Hampton Township, I believe I no longer have a choice. For too long, the same group of people have been running this town, in some cases for decades, longer than even some of our residents have been alive. And somewhere along the way, I believe they stopped representing the people. Instead of serving the residents who elected them, they appear to be using their positions to advance their own agenda and maintain their own control. Hampton Township does not belong to any mayor, any committee, any employee, or any small group of insiders. It belongs to the people. This is not a homeowners association. This is a township. And the people who work for this township are supposed to be public servants, not gatekeepers, not rulers, and not political enforcers. This is why I'm running in the Republican primary election on June 2nd, 2026. Like many of you, I was appalled when I saw committee member Ed Ram's Facebook post documenting the confrontation with Mayor Tim Dooley over the lowering of the American flag. President Donald J. Trump, our commander-in-chief, issued a proclamation directing American flags to be flown at half-staff in memory of Charlie Kirk. This should not have been controversial. Charlie Kirk was a patriot who dedicated his life to peaceful education, debate, and speaking directly with America's youth. Regardless of which side of the aisle you're on, I cannot imagine any patriotic resident of Hampton Township not wanting our town to show simple respect, sympathy, and unity in that moment. Lowering the flag was not about politics. It was about respect. It was about honoring a lost life. And it was about recognizing the direction given by the President of the United States. What made this even more troubling is that Hampton Township is not run by Democrats. Every member of this township committee runs as a Republican. So when a Republican president directed flags to be lowered in honor of Charlie Kirk, I expected our Republican-led township to show respect. Instead, what we saw was resistance, excuses, and politics. This is not Republican leadership. This is not conservative leadership. And it is certainly not the kind of leadership Hampton Township deserves and expects. This is exactly why labels are not enough. It is not enough to put an R next to your name at election time. Republican voters deserve leaders who actually stand for Republican values. Respect for our country, respect for our flag, respect for our president, and respect for the people. One of the biggest issues facing Hampton Township is the cost of local government. We're a small town, fewer than 5,000 residents, roughly 3,000 homes. We do not need a bloated local government. We need a smart, efficient leadership that respects the taxpayers. In my conversations with leaders from neighboring towns, I learned that Hampton Township had opportunities to use shared services with other municipalities to reduce our costs and improve the level of quality of services provided to our residents. And here's where the words and the actions of current leadership simply do not match. One of my opponents publicly talks about keeping Hampton affordable and using shared services. That sounds great. But when Hampton needed zoning and code enforcement services, the township had the opportunity to share those services with a neighboring town for less than $25,000 per year. That included transportation, communications, and related expenses. Instead of moving forward with that shared service option, the township committee chose to build the local government bigger. They hired a salaried zoning and code enforcement employee at approximately $75,000 per year, plus benefits, plus transportation, plus communications costs. For a small town like Hampton Township, doesn't seem to make sense. And from what I understand, this is not even someone dedicated solely to our town, because she works for another municipality as well. So the question every taxpayer should be asking is simple. How many zoning applications does Hampton Township process in a year to justify this kind of cost? Historically, Hampton was able to handle zoning with a part-time construction official who performed these duties for a few hours a week as part of his broader responsibilities. Now, instead of controlling costs, they expanded government. And to help pay for it, the cost of a zoning permit was increased from $20 to $50. That may not sound like much to some people, but it's evidence of the problem. When government gets bigger, taxpayers pay more. This is not what conservative local government is supposed to do. This is not shared services. This is not fiscal responsibility. And Hampton Township residents should not be forced to pay for someone else's political empire. If I'm elected, I will lead by example. I will return my township committee stipend back to the town and ask that it be applied directly for the benefit of the taxpayers. And I will urge every member of the township committee, especially the mayor, who receives the largest stipend, to do the same. Because public office should never be about personal benefit, personal control, or building a larger government. It should be about service. It should be about accountability, and it should always be about the people of Hampton Township. Another example of how costs are soaring in Hampton is the way certain people in current leadership positions appear to use township resources to advance their own agenda. This town has a troubling history of expensive and unnecessary litigation that too often does not serve the residents, does not improve services, and does not make Hampton Township stronger. Instead, it drains taxpayer money. It drains residents financially and emotionally, and in many cases, it appears to be aimed at people who question the leadership, challenge the agenda, or simply try to use their own property lawfully. That is wrong. Town government should not be used as a weapon against the people it is supposed to serve. Residents should not have to fear that speaking up or standing their ground will bring the full weight of town government down upon them. Most people do not want to fight City Hall. They know it's expensive, they know it's stressful, and even when they believe the town is wrong, many people will simply give up because they cannot afford the fight. That is not public service. That is intimidation through government power. There have also been serious concerns involving town employees and official reports that have led to even more conflict, legal expense, and litigation. I believe some of these reports were false or politically motivated, and those issues deserve to be brought into the light. But here is the bigger problem. Most residents do not even know what's happening. They do not know where their tax dollars are going. They do not know how much money is spent on lawyers. They do not know how many disputes are created or escalated by township leadership. And frankly, I believe not even every member of the township committee is fully informed. This has to end. If I'm elected, I will fight for full transparency. I will make sure the people of Hampton Township know what is being done in their name, with their money, and by their government. And if the controlling majority tries to block that information from reaching you, the public, then I will use my own resources to keep the people informed. Because Hampton Township belongs to the residents, not to the mayor, not to a committee majority, not to employees, and not to lawyers, not to any small group of insiders. It belongs to the people, and the people have a right to know what their government is doing. I want to be very clear with you. I'm not a career politician. I did not wake up one day looking for a title, a stipend, or a seat at the table. In fact, I never wanted to get involved in politics at all. But sometimes, when you see something wrong, you have a choice. You can stay quiet, or you can stand up and do something about it. I'm choosing to stand up. I am running because I believe Hampton Township deserves better. I'm running because I believe our residents deserve a government that listens to them, respects them, and works for them, not against them. I'm running because I believe our town needs transparency, accountability, lower costs, shared services, and leadership that remembers who it works for. I have nothing personal to gain from this position. I've spent my life building businesses, working hard, taking care of my family and my farm. I do not need this job for myself, but I do believe I have something to offer. I have real-world experience. I understand budgets. I understand responsibility. I understand what it means to sign the front of a paycheck, not just the back of one. And I have more skin in the game than most, because I live here, I invest here, I farm here, and I care deeply about what happens to our town. I'm not asking for your vote because I want power. I'm asking for your vote because I want change. I'm asking for your vote because Hampton Township should not be run like a private club, a political machine, or a homeowners association. It should be run like a town that belongs to the people. On June 2nd, in the Republican primary, I'm asking you to vote for me, Bob Siejkowski, for Hampton Township. I'm on the municipal ballot on the third line under my incumbent opponents. Together, we can bring common sense, accountability, and real representation back to Hampton Township. Because this town belongs to all of us, not the insiders, not the old guard, the people. My name is Bob Siejkowski, and I'd like to be your next Hampton Township committee member. Please vote for me on Tuesday, June 2nd in the Hampton Township Republican primary.